You would have to go out there and that chair.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will call the meeting for December 13th to order. Can I get a motion that the agenda for the December 13th, 2022 regular meeting of council be adopted as presented? Councillor Shenard will make that motion. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion carried. Can I get a motion that the minutes of the December 6th, 2022 regular meeting of council be adopted as presented? Councillor Taylor will make that motion. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion carried. We have no public hearings, no delegations, and no readings of bylaws. Reports from administration. Can I get a motion that council provide $471,102 to the West Yellowhead Regional Waste Management Authority for the town's portion of the design and construction of MSW cell number 8 using a 3-trench design to be funded from the revenue sharing reserve. Councillor Pasechny will move that.
I'm going to declare possible conflict of interest because the company I work for is doing the work.
All right. And CO Beverage will be presenting on this evening.
He's about here now.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't have a presentation this evening. Essentially, in the package was the RFD that explains that the West Yellowhead Regional Waste Management Authority has recommended construction of a 3-trench MSW cell as outlined. One of the things that the authority had brought forward, they were going out to the engineer to determine to build an additional cell for the landfill, and it was recognized that they had an opportunity to expand the cell that will actually lengthen the life of this particular cell. And it was recommended by the authority that this be put forward to the partner municipalities to share in the capital cost. The rest of the report is attached from the authority, but I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have on this item.
All right, thank you, CEO Beveridge. Council Position, is there anything you'd like to add as a member of that authority?
Yeah, if I may, through the mayor to the council. It was brought up, they were originally looking, we have a new manager of the facility, and he really likes his waste and he looks at the dollars and cents, and the long and short of it is originally we're just gonna go with 2 cells, but we're gonna go with 3 just because the savings today will save us considerable amount more money in the future. We'll get that much more life out of it. They're really pushing the operator for compaction. And in his words, if we can pay them their bonus, it's worth every penny because of the life of the cells. So it's a bit more money we anticipated, but as the board, as the authority we met, it made a lot of sense financially to save us a lot of money in the future. So.
All right, thank you, Councillor Beyer, and then Councillor Moore.
Thanks. Through the chair to either the board members or administration. So I'm certainly in favor of this. I just have a couple of questions for clarity. So it looks like some money's already been saved to put towards this project. And then the downfall is being split amongst the members by what I've observed and read. Is there any anticipation that the money that we would put in now would come back at all, or would there be an intention to save over the next was it 15 years? No, 13 years, the remainder of the reserve to build a new one after that, so we wouldn't have another capital cost if it was planned anyways.
You want me to take this one? Sure. Okay. So I think the desire would be to continue to build up reserves for any future capital cost replacement that may be required. As you know, regulatory changes happen all the time, which is one of the other reasons why we see a need to do this immediately, because those regulations can change and all of a sudden this cost is going to balloon on us down the road. For sure.
Okay.
Hey, further, Mr. Mayor, through the council, there is we're also bringing on another partner. So another county, Greenby. There is pluses and minuses to that because they are going to be bringing in more waste. But our managers also reassessed all the rates and bringing them up to industry standards, which we should see quite a bit. Like we won't see it right away, but we do anticipate we'll have quite a bit more revenue from the authority now. It's the best way to sum it up. I think we have the right person in the right job managing that facility.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Moore.
Thank you. Through the chair. So the other municipalities are paying their share, which I imagine varies from community to community.
That is correct, Councillor Moore. It's based on the tonnage that they haul into the landfills. So Hinton is going to have a larger bill than we are because it is their actual place where they haul all of their garbage. So and then Yellowwood County as well is a big contributor to the landfill authority.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor? Motion carried. Would you get Councillor Sharp, please? Can I get a motion that council accept the December 13th, 2022 strategic plan quarterly report as set out in attachment 1 for information? Councillor Beyer will make that motion, and CEO Beveridge, take it away.
Just one moment while I get switched over. My apologies.
So. And hit that little green arrow. And I should be able to share screen. Share.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I apologize for the wait. So this evening, I'm pleased to be able to provide our first quarterly report on our strategic plan. So the strategic plan was adopted in May of 2022. And as you know, it establishes council's vision for your term of office. This includes 5 strategic pillars supported by goals, strategies, and measures. We've identified 5 high priority strategies for 2022 to 2023. And this also informs council's or administration's projects, initiatives, and will guide the development of the corporate business plan. This is a visionary document with a long-term focus. And during this early stage, we really focused on establishing the foundations for success. So in this time, a lot of research and data gathering, financial readiness, and staffing based on the identified priorities. The goals that have been set forward are to maintain accountability, foster transparency, and inform council and the public. This presentation will focus on the near term, the 2022 and 2023 priorities identified by council, as well as current projects, initiatives will support the strategic pillars. This not only captures a snapshot or a moment in time, but also just the efforts that administration has been putting forward on all the initiatives for the past year. The 5 pillars are creating a connected community that is safe and inclusive, fostering a robust and adaptable economy, responding to a changing global environment, ensuring quality infrastructure, and providing effective leadership and community engagement. So the first pillar, I'm going to probably not go through each individual, but I'll give a highlight here. So creating a connected community that is safe and inclusive. The work that administration is doing to advance the strategic plan spans a range of issues, from public safety to eventfulness and livability. Moving forward, we recognize the need for clear measurement and strategies related to the housing supply and affordable housing, though the town continues to build relationship with groups such as Reflections, which are helping to address shortages into short-term shelter spaces. As well, concerted efforts to understand and implement the TRC calls to action are still required across the organization. We'll be turning our attention to this and generally exploring options to advance reconciliation with Indigenous peoples in the early 2023. If council has any questions as I go through, please don't hesitate to interrupt me.
Any questions on the item so far? Councilor Taylor,
Sorry, I'm just talking this particular slide, is that?
just the item she just mentioned.
Oh, just good. Okay.
Okay.
The next pillar, fostering a robust and adaptable economy. This pillar has been a strong focus for administration and council, in particular through the introduction of an EDO position, which is helping to build and strengthen relationships with businesses, associations, as well as community futures West Yellowhead. Foundational elements such as the modernization of the business license bylaw have already been completed in conjunction with the overhaul of the land use bylaw. This should facilitate business activity and development more for the community. Progress on this front can be measured in part simply by counting businesses operating at this point. And at this point, we have 674 businesses. So that's our measurement right now. It is recognized that there's a need moving forward to further refine the performance measures of this pillar, including the surveying and other methods of evaluating success in a formal economic development activities.
Councilor Shard.
674, is that up from the previous years? What were we doing with business license? Do we have that information?
Mr. Mayor, I don't have the exact number, but it's pretty close. If it's up, it's not up by much. I'm pretty sure we are in the 600 to 650 range, if I remember last year. So it may be up a little, but not.
Okay, thank you.
Next is responding to a changing global environment. The town has a strong foundation in waste reduction and diversion, exemplified, for instance, by the success of the curbside organics program. Through it, will continue to be an important task to monitor waste management outcomes moving forward and explore policy options that will lead to further diversion. And despite the recent setback resulting in the province's decision to discontinue the municipal energy management program, the result of a lack of dedicated staff resources to strategically respond to climate risks and reduce the town's environmental footprint, the recent selection of a contractor to conduct our climate risk assessment is cause for celebration. Moreover, during their tenure, the municipal energy coordinator helped build momentum, cultural awareness, and tangible project plans that will be invaluable as we look forward to further cutting carbon emissions. Administration also intends to continually liaise with organizations such as Municipal Climate Action Change Center to explore ways that municipalities, the province, and other groups can come together to address the gap that has been left in our organization.
Just before you continue on, CO Beveridge, just further to Councillor Chenard's question there. I did present on this chamber, so just pulled up the numbers for you. In 2019, we had 694 business licenses, 714 in 2020, and 673 in 2021.
So
So
we're actually down, Mark.
we're down, yeah.
I was just looking for the same thing. So you can for me.
And our peak was just going back was in 2016 when we had 867.
Wow.
Yeah. Any questions on this?
Ensuring quality infrastructure. As shown in this slide, meaningful progress has been made so far on certain facilities in infrastructure, from standardizing signage to facilitating snow measurement to repairing roofs. But of course, the main focus area of the strategic pillar is the YC multiplex, along with the infrastructure deficit. Despite the challenges caused by inflation and construction costs and the over budget bids received initially on the multiplex, the town and our municipal partners have proven to be adapting to the trend. And further in this council agenda, we'll be reviewing the concept plan that we have set forward for council's approval. This plan will enable the town and county to apply for the revised ISIP grant, and both town and county administration are working tirelessly moving this effort forward. When it comes to planning for and improving infrastructure, it's no secret that infrastructure deficit throughout Alberta is a daunting challenge. However, our team is working to review and eventually update crucial plans as the asset management plan you'll see that are on track to implement new maintenance manager software, which helps us build a better plan and manage our assets. Exploration of ways to improve water security and ensure the robustness of our water network are also slated in the coming years. And while our team works to get our bearings in regard to the challenges and opportunities faced with our infrastructure, we're also working to ensure that council has a clear understanding of the same. Which is why we've been bringing forward information throughout this year of their limitations on the asset management plan and our asset data, including our water network. Providing effective leadership and community engagement. As the following slides will highlight, a number of efforts are underway to ensure that Edson continues to become an attractive place to work. Last week, for instance, Council approved Budget 2023, which enhanced staff benefits, effectively benchmarking our performance in this area relative to our peers to ensure we meet Q4 2024 timeframe will be crucial moving forward. When it comes to bylaws and policies, we are again focusing on foundational elements. putting in place dedicated staff resources for legislative matters, as well as making use of legal counsel. This will all help to keep us on track as far as monitoring and modernization of our legislative framework. We're also focusing on risk and liability for our organization. We also recognize that the performance measure, such as how residents feel about our level of engagement, requires surveying and similar methods to track. And this will be something we'll be exploring moving forward. Finally, COVID, inflation, and other factors, as well as historically low taxation increases, have highlighted the importance and the challenges associated with tax stability. While managing and minimizing tax fluctuations is a long-term challenge, efforts to reduce reliance on certain reserves while accelerating the COVID recovery strategy in budget 2023, as well as reducing the impact of volatile revenue streams, represents a first step in this process. As shown on this slide, a number of initiatives are underway which should accomplish goals such as facilitating and clarifying governance processes. For instance, through a revised procedural bylaw being brought forward in the next year, further intermunicipal collaboration and improving budget through new software and enhanced processes. Despite the setbacks such as delay in finalizing a new revenue sharing agreement, a deep spirit of partnership, collaboration, and goodwill with our partners at the county, fostered both by administration and both councils, makes me confident in the future of our regional collaboration. So a review of our 2022 to 2023 priorities. You'll note this within the first or the second page within our strategic plan. These were goals, priorities that this council set forward. So work with partners to seek long-term solutions that address addictions, transitional housing, homelessness, and mental health. So the strategies: advocate to the province for additional support for municipalities and community groups, and collaborate with local stakeholders to secure funding. So we view this on track, and we're working regularly with Reflections and other local stakeholders to explore funding opportunities, and have been seeking clarity on eligibility of other conditions for other provincial programs. Again, advocacy letters have been sent to relevant ministries highlighting the community's needs and opportunities. Work with regional partners to develop a plan to meet the infrastructure and operational cost requirements of the regional multiplex. The strategies: conduct research and analysis into infrastructure needs. It was felt that this was on track as research completed on infrastructure requirements, and further discussion with Yellowhead County is still required and ongoing. And again, conduct research and analysis into operational needs. That's an ongoing discussion that we're just entering into. Identify and prioritize infrastructure needs and associated cost impacts. Develop better defined capital plans. On track. The preliminary reviews of such plans as the asset management plan are underway, which will aid in developing improved capital plans, as well as ongoing planned condition assessments for sanitary sewer stormwater networks will also enable clear and more informed project lists. The second, increase investment in reserves. Additional reserve transfers funded by utility fees were included within budget 2023. Plan infrastructure that will accommodate population and economic growth. Strategy: review capacity in existing systems. On track. An underground water aquifer study is ongoing, slated for completion of Q1 of 2023 to assess the lifespan of the existing well system. A new water source exploration study has also been included within the capital plan for 2024. The second strategy: provide information to council about current state and future opportunities. On track. Informational updates on water network and asset management have been provided. Continue to build relationship with stakeholders external to the town of Edson, including community groups, the business community, and Yellowhead County. The strategies liaise and explore opportunities to build relationships and collaborate with stakeholders. This is a priority and a continual focus for administration. Regular engagement is taking place in community, the business community, particularly through our economic development officer, community groups such as Reflections in the Friendship Center, as well as our partners in Yellowhead County. That concludes our review of the first quarterly report on the strategic plan. I'm happy to answer any questions that council has at this time.
Thank you, CEO Beveridge, for your presentation this evening. Council, any questions, comments? Councilor Moore.
Through the chair, employee handbook, did we have an employee handbook in the past?
Mr. Mayor, through to Councillor Moore. No.
No. Okay.
Any other?
Not to my knowledge.
Councilor Schneider.
How did you pass your court audit without a handbook? I think there was one.
Mr. Mayor, through to council, there are definitely HR policies that are in place. Whether there was one in the past, I'm not sure, but not to my knowledge of a current employee handbook that is helpful for the staff.
Councilor Pasechny,
Our
our local historian.
I might have a copy of it. There was one because I got one when I joined the fire department. So there was one at one time, so.
Would you like me to bring a copy and then share with the group?
Well, I am not Councillor Boyce, so I don't think I have all those documents, but I will take a look.
Councilor Taylor.
Probably have one.
Do the mayor, CEO Beveridge, just on the slides there, the library board contract off track, what, I don't. That.
It's a library operational agreement. So we have the lease that we did
Lease, yeah.
renew, but this is a library operational agreement. That's
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Councilor Moore.
Thank you. Through the chair. Patron operated heating, what does that involve?
Mr. Mayor, through to Councillor Moore. When visiting the leisure center, if you're on the arena side, you now have a button that you press that actually engages the heater for a 15-minute period of time. It's one, energy efficient, as well as its comfort level as well, and it's pretty common in rigs.
And you pay?
No pay,
Okay.
free. That's a great revenue.
The Councillor Sherry wants to go to a paces.
Councilor Kennard.
Actually, comment on that. They do have arenas that you can turn up the heat and they are paid. So guys like me carry pockets full of change and you keep putting them in and you, for a price, you can heat the place up. So putting a pay one in makes sense because they do add in toonies and loonies and you pay to get heat.
All right. Anybody else? Any questions, comments? Councilor Byer.
Thanks, that's through the chair to CEO Beveridge. Thanks for bringing this forward. It was nice to kind of see where the plan was and kind of where we're headed a little bit. Is there a point where we would review it at the 1 year mark? And just kind of, I don't know, maybe the same level of detail or a different level of detail?
CEO Beveridge.
Mr. Mayor, through to Councillor Byer. One of the things that I believe when we introduced the plan in the beginning is that we want to bring this forward. I view this as being a capital review or a quarterly review, and then you're able to understand where we're at and the measurements that we have that you're able to compare, and that will help us build us for the future. We'll be able to provide you meaningful input.
Okay.
All right, any other questions, comments, or concerns? We only have a little bit of work that administration is trying to get underway based on our robust strategic plan. I think one of the key points, and we see a lot of discussion about this throughout Canadian society, is on Indigenous reconciliation. I guess, has administration had any preliminary ideas on what that may look like for our municipality?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, we have had preliminary discussions. One of the things that we had the great opportunity of having our community development team fully staffed, and in which that was a pinnacle point in order to allow us the opportunity to explore this area of our strategic plan. So we have had a very preliminary discussion. They understand the outcomes that we are trying to achieve, and that we are on a path, really on a journey towards what this looks like for the organization. So I'll be able to bring more information back on a specific item for council on this item, I would say in the first quarter of 2023.
Thank you. And my other comment had to do with the affordable housing piece. There is a number of initiatives underway right now with the federal government with rapid housing and other grant opportunities that the provincial government just announced. So I would really stress, I think, the importance of that being a priority within our organization. So I know it's one of those things that we don't see front and center every day. This council, not this council, but a previous council did a lot of work on affordable housing about 10 years ago with the Habitat for Humanity project. And, I think there's a lot of people in our community that really need some help in terms of housing and affordability. So as we look at our land use plan and the work that we're doing in Hillendale, I think we need to really kind of think outside the box on how we can push forward some projects to hopefully increase supply and lower costs for those that are looking at home ownership in our community. That's just my general comment. Any other comments, questions, or concerns? Seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor? Motion carried. Can I get a motion of the meeting move into a closed section pursuant to section 24 of the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act? Councillor Taylor will make that motion. All those in favor? Motion carried.
We're live.
Thank you. Can I get a motion that council approve the cost-effective concept design option? This design includes a new aquatic center and one new ice surface, the conversion of Memorial Arena to a curling rink facility, upgrading the existing Centennial Arena, and allowing for the addition of a new gym space and walking track on the front of the existing structure for the purposes of the ISIP grant application. Councillor Pacici will make that motion, and CO Beveridge, do you want to speak to this?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. So I'm very pleased to share this update today. We've been working very hard to reach this stage in the process. Since the reset in May, much work has been done. Condition assessment has been completed, which confirmed the current leisure center was suitable for repurposing. Following that, we've been working towards the creation of a concept plan that would be used to reapply for the federal funding, the ISIP grant. Dialogue Design and administration have worked to find viable solutions for both councils to consider. The first is to minimize disruption option. That includes a new aquatic center, new twin arenas, renovation of the Centennial ice surface into a dry floor space, as well as conversion of Memorial Arena into a curling rink, as well as adding a new gymnasium and walking track. The second option is the cost-effective option. This includes a new aquatic center, one new arena, upgrading of Centennial Arena, conversion of Memorial into a curling rink, and a new gymnasium and walking track. Both options offer minimization of program disruption, as in the pool would be constructed and the old pool would be demolished, the same with the arena construction. Both build then renovated and conversion of Memorial Arena. Renovations would be occurring in the off season to ensure that we can still offer our users access to the facilities. The steering committee's recommendation was included within the package, which supported the cost-effective option, along with requesting administration to review the construction of an additional ice arena. The next steps in this process would be submission of the amended ISIP grant to the federal government. We anticipate the timeline to be 3 months. In that meantime, we're continuing to work with Dialogue, and that is to develop a schematic design. Along with that as well, it would be finalizing the procurement process. I would have to say that administration is feeling very confident in this plan moving forward, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that council has.
All right, council, we will open the floor to questions. Comments. So I do know that this went to Yellowwood County earlier today. Was this approved by Yellowwood County?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It was.
All right, thank you. I can just speak on behalf, I guess, of the town side of the steering committee. We're very excited to continue to move this project forward. There is lots of work still to be done. What we're passing here today, as CO Beveridge has talked about, is so we can get our grant application into ISIP. We do think that's going to take a few months, and that'll allow us time to get more detailed information on what was presented to us. Some information will be going out to the public tomorrow in terms of a news release. I can't speak highly enough of everybody that's involved in this. Both councils have been working tirelessly through various concepts, and I hope that this is going to move forward in a very judicious manner, because I think our community needs this and deserves a facility of this nature. So I'm looking forward to it. With that, I will call the question. All those in favor? Motion carried. And can I get a motion that council direct administration to further investigate costing options for a second ice arena? Sure. Councillor Byron will make that motion as a member of the steering committee. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion carried. Thank you, everyone. We have no information items, no sundry items. Council committee reports. We are going back to last Wednesday, and we'll start with Councillor Moore.
Thank you very much. Yeah, December 8th, I was at as mostly everybody was, a Christmas dinner with Yellowhead County Hinton councils, and yeah, it was a great get together to discuss a lot of things that I won't tell you about right now, but it was very enlightening in many ways, and yeah, it was great, and on December 9th, of course, there was another Christmas party that I attended. It was Edson District Historical Society at the Galloway Museum. We had a murder mystery, and somebody killed the lead character, but it wasn't my character, fortunately. Anyway, it was a great it's a great committee, and yeah, they do some pretty wonderful things, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Councillor Sharp.
Go figure reporting Christmas parties. I did the one on the 9th or on the 8th. And on the 10th, the chamber had a successful Christmas party for the public, and that's it for my report.
Councillor Pacicci.
The West Yellowhead Regional Waste Management Authority meeting I had on the 7th, and I also attended the regional Christmas with the county.
Thank you, Councillor Barr.
I just had on Thursday, December 8th, the regional dinner with Hinton and County Councils and CAOs.
Councillor Bennett.
Same thing on the 8th, and that was it.
All right, and Councillor Taylor.
December 8th, with the county and Hinton, it was great.
For me, December 7th, the Regional Waste Management Authority meeting, which was item on our agenda earlier this evening. And then the intermunicipal dinner on the 8th, which I think the county just did a wonderful job hosting, and it was great to get everybody together. Edson hosted last year, so I believe Hinton's going to take it for next year, so that should be another great event. We have no financial items. Questions for media and public regarding items from this council meeting? Daniel, do we have anybody online?
Nobody watched one.
Nikki, you have any questions?
No questions, thank you.
Thank you, Nikki. And with that, I will take a motion to go into camera.
German.
No, take a motion to go in camera. Councilor Bevan will make that motion.
I thought we already went down. Going
No,
again?
different.
Councilor Bevan will make the motion. Thank you. All those in favor? Motion carried. Nice
Motion for adjournment then. Be
Counselor Denara makes the motion for adjournment. All those in favor? Motion carried. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Welcome to the council chambers, young ladies.